musicians at Co-Brown Northwood Academy have never worked so hard on a piece as the one that they're about to play.
They are self-motivated. They come in every single morning and they run, before school starts, their own sectionals and their own lessons without me even asking. For my students, the piece is just so personal.
The piece they're rehearsing to debut at the spring concert was composed to honor a member of their band, a clarinetist who passed away 6 months ago.
She was only 15, and she had so much more life to live.
Madeline Chadbourne, Maddie, loved music. She was a natural on the piano. After putting down the recorder, she picked up the clarinet. Some of her very best friends are in the band.
Whenever we talk about the piece or what it means, it makes me really sad, but remembering it's in honor of her makes me want to do it more.
There are several times throughout the last couple of weeks where we would end in rehearsal a portion of the song and it got emotional, and either I would start getting emotional or I would see a couple of my students cry. I mean, it's not just let's get to work playing this piece. There is a lot of other feelings involved with performing.
After Maddie's loss, band director John Ludwig contacted his old professor at UNH, Dr. Andrew Boysen, a world-renowned composer, and the school commissioned him to write a concert piece for Maddie.
You sound beautiful, and it's just marvelous.
Before getting started, he met with the students to learn more about their bandmate and what she loved most.
One of the things that got mentioned several times was that she loved sunsets.
That one is so pretty.
She used to always post pictures of the sky and say how pretty they are.
They are a brief but really beautiful moment that I think we all wish we could kind of hang on to longer when we see them, you know what I mean?
He named the piece The Golden Hour.
And the golden hour is the hour before or when someone is passing, but it's also while the sun is setting, the brightest hour of the day.
Maddie's mom was moved to tears when she heard about the musical tribute.
So that is amazing. And I can't wait to hear this. I know the girls have said that they have worked so hard, and when they said that the name of it, and it was named after the sunsets and stuff, I was just blown away by it. And I'm so grateful and honored that they want to do this for her.
Slow pieces were always her favorite pieces. So I think for this song to be mostly slow, she would have enjoyed it a lot. For me, it's kind of a piece about friendship, because in the song there's a lot of parts where the clarinets and the flutes and the saxophones are all playing together, and that's all of her close friends.
Letters in Maddie's name shape the melody.
I actually used the notes, the musical note names that are in her name. So Maddie, I used A, D, D, and E. Those are the musical note names that are in her name.
I think about it a lot and what I can do better, how I can make it sound better, because this is one of those songs that you want to perfect.
When the audience hears this for the first time during our spring concert, I think they're going to hear Maddie in the piece.
I will probably be an emotional train wreck. It's going to be hard. And not seeing her up there will be even harder. Not seeing her playing with her friends.
The night of the concert, Maddie's family packed several rows, eager to hear the golden hour for the very first time.
I truly hope that this piece is something that will be meaningful, especially to Maddie's family, friends, to everybody in the band. And I hope that she really liked it. Thank you.
I would hope that she would love this. She would be honored and pleased and so happy that her friends would do this for her and to honor her this way.